All right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day. It is October 14th, at least it is when I'm recording this. I have my coffee, and I'm ready for another chit-chat video. Thank you guys for coming back every week to check these out. They're going to gradually get better, so stick around, and I promise that there will be something for you if there hasn't been yet, eventually. And today I'd like to talk about something that's kind of a bummer, but it's something we all go through, and that is these down moments where we just absolutely hate our own art, and it sucks. I think it's inevitable that we compare ourselves to other artists and other people that are successful, and we think, I want to be there, and we look at our own art, we don't see that yet, or we have imposter syndrome, or we're just in a rut, and it happens to everybody, and it happens to all the artists that you admire and that you follow. It happens to them too. It's just a part of being an artist, and like acne or anxiety or whatever, it doesn't have a cure, but there are ways to deal with it, and there are ways to know when it's coming and to kind of help yourself out of it. And I'm going to start by telling a little story about when I was going through this the hardest in my life, my art career, I don't know. But I just started animating, and I just started making friends through the Frederator Network. Steak Robot, Laura Jane, Cro-Mag, 3 people that are still really good friends of mine to this day. Oh, and Howard Wimshurst, of course. But we would get in calls all the time, and I was always animating. I was animating all the time, and I would pump cartoons out, and then a day later, I would regret making that cartoon, and I would absolutely hate it. And I'd always join the call, and I'd be like, man, why am I so terrible? Especially when I was in the call with these animators that I already really looked up to. All my friends at the time, and still to this day, are people that I respect and admire. And what my problem was, what I didn't realize, is that I needed time. I needed time to practice, and I wasn't going to start animating and within 3 months of being an animator release freaking an epic animated short that's gonna blow everyone away. It just doesn't happen like that, especially in art and animation. These professions are huge. There's so many ways you can go. There's so much to do. There's so much to learn. There's no finish line. You're always going to be learning, and you can't expect to set foot in this huge world of knowledge and creativity and to nail it first try. And that was my problem. And my buddy Steak Robot would always say, it's just because you're not your type yet. You're not inspired by your own artwork. He would say something like that, and he was right, because my taste was really, really refined. I had specific things that I really liked and that I really wanted to see in art and animation, and I wasn't yet capable of creating those things. And to be honest, looking back on it, it felt terrible at the moment, but this is actually a good thing. This meant that I was hungry to get good at something, that I really wanted to immerse myself in a type of artwork, and I was really ready to create. So it was good, but I needed to slow down. So in order to be good at something, you have to first be bad at it. And that is a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. But after years of animation and artwork, I finally get that, and now I'm enjoying the process of learning things more because of it. Like right now, I'm trying to do 3D animation in Maya, and let me tell you, Maya is frustrating software to learn. Just 3D in general, especially rigging and character animation. There's just so much that I need to learn, and it seems like, again, I'm getting involved in this whole other world, this whole wealth of knowledge. It's going to take years for me to perfect and hone my skills at. And right now, I'm really bad at it. And I'm not used to making things and not being able to post it because it looks so crappy. But I understand that in order to be good at it, I first have to be bad at it. So instead of trying to, in 3D, make finished projects that I can show off and try and build a portfolio, I'm instead taking my time, and I'm practicing, and I'm just learning. And I'm just making things for the fun of it, and I'm making things in pursuit of getting better at the program. And that's kind of like what life drawing is. You go into life drawing, and you go there to study the human form. You don't go into life drawing class to make finished artwork. You don't go in there to make finished pieces. You go in there to study the form, and you go to learn. And that's what sketchbooks are for, and that's what all this is for. A lot of creating is so that you can get better at creating. Not everything has to be a finished project all the time. You don't want your sketchbook to be a bunch of rendered pieces every single page. You want your brain to be working. You want your sketchbook to be your thought process. And I feel like I've kind of deviated here a little bit, but you know what? This is a big subject. And maybe you've been making art for a while. In fact, it's very likely that you've been making art for a while and you're still running into this, why do I hate my art? Why does my art suck? It happens to my friends. It happens to people I know. It happens to me all the time. And I think you're either like you're improving and you're just breaking through this barrier of seeing flaws in your own work and fixing them, which is just really difficult, and you gotta maybe you gotta do some studies, maybe you gotta break through this like why do I understand more about artwork, and why does this translate into me not liking my current work? Or maybe it's just that maybe you're just having a bad time. Creative work is very strenuous on the brain, and our mental health can take a dive if we do too much of it. And sometimes we get this imposter syndrome, and we get this voice in our head that tells us that we're not good, or we're not worth it, or we're not as good as other artists. And sometimes that can be a real problem when creating art. I don't know if you guys have ever played the game Celeste, but that game beautifully illustrates this concept. It's about this girl trying to climb the mountain, and while she's doing so, this alter ego kind of pops out of her and is fighting her the entire time. And this alter ego is telling her that she can't climb the mountain, that she's wasting her time, that she's not capable of it. And the whole game is about learning to deal with that. And it's a beautiful representation of this inner dialogue we have, and this voice in our head that we have to fight, that's constantly telling us that we're not worth it, or we're inadequate. And that part of you might be with you your entire life, but as we get older and as we get better at things, we learn how to deal with it. And if you're dealing with that now, you will learn how to deal with it as long as you keep fighting. I feel like we're kind of dipping our toes into the mental health category here, and I'm just some asshole on the internet. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not even an amazing artist, really. So again, these chit chat videos are just me chit chatting. I do want to give advice. I do want to help people with the problems that I also deal with, but take everything I say with a grain of salt because I'm not a professional. Disclaimer out of the way, while I'm recording this, I'm actually talking with my buddy Steak Robot right now, telling him that I'm making a video about this, and he shared with me this graph that's kind of like this double helix, and it shows this wavy line that shows your knowledge of art getting better, and then this other wavy line that's trying to keep up with it, and it's your ability. So your artistic ability is always trying to keep up with your knowledge of art and your influence, and you're gonna the more you get into it, the more knowledge you're gonna have, and the more you're gonna grow, but that growth kind of lags behind the knowledge you gain. You should see me while I'm talking about this. I'm like waving my arms around like an idiot, like trying to I'm doing all these wild hand gestures as if people can see me. I know we already talked about art school, but this is another thing that art school helped me out with. Specifically, my professor Aldo Figueroa, he taught me that I need to slow down. My first semester learning 3D, I was like, I'm gonna do a whole film. I'm gonna do a 3D film. I'm gonna model this character. I'm gonna rig it. And for that whole year, I tried to do this huge project that I wasn't ready for, and my professor was like, Josh, you need to slow down and you need to just take some time to learn. And I didn't listen, and I kind of crashed and burned. And now this final semester I'm on right now, I've finally wised up to his advice, and I'm just learning 3D, and I'm just playing with rigs and learning how to animate in 3D, and just sharpening my skills instead of trying to make something amazing. And it's been a lot less stressful, and it's been better, and I've been learning more, and I'm able to do things on the side. Not everything you do has to be amazing. Not every hobby you have, not every project you have has to amount in some epic film or something. And I also think that's something I'm starting to understand as I get older, is that we have plenty of time on this earth, and we don't need to rush into our careers, and we don't need to rush through life, and we don't need to be successful today, or we don't need to have everything today. We can appreciate where we're at. We can take things slow. we can enjoy the process of learning and the process of becoming better at something, because it is fun to be bad at something and then get good at it. That's what makes life worth living, in my opinion. If we're super good at everything, then we don't really, then we'd just be depressed. And that's part of the reason why I don't play Smash Brothers anymore, because I'm so damn good at it. Give me your freaking code. Give me your Smash code, I'll show you, and then yeah, I'll just put my Switch down, because I'm so damn good at Smash Brothers, you guys. I just can't even play that game without yawning. I close my eyes and I win matches, and it's sad. Alright, I think that's the highest note we can end it on. Guys, thank you so much for sticking with the whole video. Thank you for coming back every week. Follow me on social media. I got a Twitter. I got an Instagram. Thank you to the Patreon supporters that are helping me breathe a second life into this channel. You can support me there if you like. There's tutorials, there's process videos, polls you can vote in on. There's things there for you if you want. Subscribe if you like this video or videos like this, and I'll see you guys next week. I'm gonna go get more coffee.